Hello, everyone, and I hope you're all well. My name is Tanner Dagenais, and I'm the host of Self-Sabotage Solutions. On this podcast, it's my opportunity and my pleasure to be able to share everything I know about self-sabotage so that you can overcome self-sabotage in your life. Now, today we'll be talking about one of the self-sabotage personality types. And this personality type is often developed in childhood as like a defense mechanism or a way that we can fit in with society. And what I'm talking about is the people pleaser, the people pleasing personality type. And it's a very common one. So many people, do people pleasing, and oftentimes people have more than just one personality type that they pick up. So it's not just this one, but a lot of times people have a little bit of people pleasing in them. And so today we'll be talking about what people pleasing is, why it's developed, usually when it's developed, how it can actually be holding you back, a people pleasing mentality, how you can address this people pleasing, and um, why it's so important that you address this people pleasing as soon as possible so that you can start moving towards the life that you do want. Now, I think we all know on some level what people pleasing is. It is, doing what doing things for other people, even at the detriment of your own self, or at the behest of your own values or beliefs. Like you are going out of your way to please other people, even though it is going against what you believe, or it is going to be putting you in a worse off position. Now, I know I also want to start kind of by saying that helping other people is important. Helping other people is very, very important. And I think it's a great thing to do, but not at the behest and not at the detriment of your own well being. You know, there's plenty of examples of where they tell you you need to address yourself before you can help other people. Think about like on an airplane when the flight attendants are talking, give you the rundown of the safety measures. What do they always tell you to do with the mask? Put on your own mask before helping other people. Why? Because if you can't help yourself, you're not going to be able to help other people, right? So it's so important that you help yourself first so that you have the ability to help other people. And it's not being selfish, it is just taking care of yourself. It's self love. It's important to show yourself that love as much as possible. So, and not be compromising on that, because compromising on that can leave you with low energy, can leave you with no time to do what you need to do, can leave you feeling like you've been abused, can leave you feel like you've just conceded on your values. So you need to consider, if people are asking you to something, is this going to leave me off in a worse off position? And sometimes saying no is what you need to do. Forgive me, guys. There's a lot of tickle in my throat. So, people pleasing. Where does it come from? Well, it usually comes from in our childhood, right? A lot of these personality, self-sabotage personality types come from our childhood. And the main reason why is because when we were children, we need to be able to fit in with society. We need to be able to find our spot in society so that, we won't be outcasted, so that we'll be accepted. And so people pleasing is one way that, children can fit in with society. It's, you please other people and they like you more, and then they'll bring you in, right? There's some other personality types. I'm not going to cover them all now, but I'll give you a few examples, like the Joker, where he's always trying to make a fool of himself. We always got that class clown in the classroom or something like that, right? They have the caregiver, the person who is like the parent, the child who's like the parent taking care of the whole family. There's other personality types as well, but the main one I want to talk about is that the people pleaser personality, and it comes from in our childhood, comes as a way to keep us safe. And the reason why is because we're all tribal people. Humans in general are tribal. They like to be around other people. That's just the general rule of thumb. The more people you're around, usually the more comfortable you are. In general, I know there's some people who like to kind of have their own time, their time alone, but in general, humans like to have compassion. Like people like to have connection with each other, even if it's just temporarily. They like to have that connection. And when we don't have that connection, when we're like solitary confinement or we're stuck, someplace alone, it can have a very big effect on us. And I think the whole COVID pandemic and everything like that, if you want to call it a pandemic, was causing some big problems also for connection with people, especially for children. So I'm curious how that's going to be happening, but that's a whole nother subject to talk about anyway. So yeah, people pleasing, it's important because, like I said, it can leave you um, with no energy, with no time to do the things you need to do. It can really be have a major effect on us, and it's so important that we address our people pleasing ways, because you may just think it's just doing this one thing for this person this one time. Oh, it's just doing this thing, but then it turns into another time, until eventually you're burnt out, until until maybe you don't have the money to support yourself, or you don't have the things, right? You can't give from an empty cup. So you got to make sure you take care of yourself first so that you have enough to give away. And that is so important. And people pleasing is, like I said, very common. I know I people pleased in my life. There was plenty of times when I knew I shouldn't be doing something, but I did something just to please other people. And sometimes I find myself still wanting to do those people pleasing methods where, people are eating something that I personally wouldn't put in my body. And they were like, please just have a bite of it. Like they brought in some like donuts from work or other things like that. And part of me wants to say yes just so I can make them happy. But, I use that word, no, no, thank you. I usually what I say. And no is a very powerful word. It's important to be able to say no. Because if you feel like you can't say no to anything, then you're going to be saying yes to a lot of things that aren't going to serve you, aren't going to bring you towards the life that you want. And a lot of overcoming self-sabotage is about letting go of the things that don't serve us, letting go of the things that are holding us back, letting go of the things that are keeping us stuck, and then letting go of the things that are making us compromise our values, leaving us with no energy, making it so that we don't have the time we need to be able to work on ourselves or our business or take care of ourselves. So, and then you start to say yes to the things that you do want, right? Start to say yes to eating healthy, start to say yes to working on your business, start to say yes to helping other people when it makes sense to, helping other people when you're able to, when you have that extra energy, when you are able to do those things. Helping other people is a great thing at that point. But that is why addressing your people pleasing ways is so important, because you don't want to be left into a a burnout stage. That burnout stage is so um, hard to overcome, because once we get burnt out, we're just out for a couple of days and maybe longer. And you know how big of an effect that has? You gotta take a couple sick days, you don't miss out on pay. Um, you have to fully recover. Like let's say you were working out consistently and then you get into burnout. You have to give up all your working, you can lose some progress. So it's best to avoid that burnout. And that burnout really happens because we weren't listening to our body signals. Our body signals of saying, hey, we shouldn't be doing this. Hey, we need to get some sleep. Hey, we need to do something else, right? So helping other people at the behest of your own sleep, of maybe you're supposed to go work out, but instead you go help out a bunch of people, and you do that over and over consistently, then you never end up working out, or you never get enough sleep, right? These are all ways that we could be people pleasing. Or like, maybe we do something for someone and go away from our values. Like we give in to eating something we shouldn't be. We give in to supporting a company that maybe we won't want to be. There's lots of different ways we could be people pleasing. Maybe even just tolerating someone who is super toxic to you and harmful to you in life, and you're just trying to be nice to them, which is not necessarily a bad thing to be nice to people, right? But if they are toxic to you, if they're holding you back, if they are constantly putting you down, it's time to say no to them. Time to get them out of your life, because keeping that kind of person in your life is only going to keep you in the negative. It's only going to keep you struggling. It's only keep you depressed. And it's time to start moving forward. It's time to start moving towards the life that you want. Time to let go of these things, the burdens, the negative influences, all those things, and say no to them and start moving towards the life that you do want. And you can do this just by changing the things that you're allowing into your life and by using the words yes and no, right? Um, so, what are some ways we can start addressing these people pleasing? Well, I just told you guys one, the yes and the no. Easy way to do it. Yes or no. Consciously be aware of each action that you're taking. Is this action going to take me towards the life I want or farther away? Is it going to keep me stuck? Is it going to make it so I'm burnt out? Is it going to lead me to that burnout stage? Right? Because if it's leading you to the burnout stage, then you're not going to be able to help anyone or even yourself. And you don't want to make it to put yourself in a position where other people have to take care of you, right? The main goal is that you can be able to take care of yourself and help other people at the same time. Once you are healthy, once you have the things that you need in life, once you take care of yourself and show yourself that self-love, you can do a lot more for other people at that point. But if you're constantly putting yourself stressed out, burning yourself out for other people, then that's a problem. And if you say no to those people and they start to get mad at you, explain to them that it's going to leave you burnt out. You don't want to put yourself in that compromised position. Most of your friends are going to understand that, okay? And unless they're just using you, in some cases, people might just be using you because you've been people pleasing for so long. They're taking advantage of your kindness and your ability to help others because they're being lazy. They don't want to do something, or there's many different reasons. When someone actually really needs help, that's awesome. It's an awesome time to help them, right? But when they're just taking advantage of you, when they can definitely help themselves, but they've come to rely on you because you're just willing to go out of your way to do anything for them, that's a big difference. That's a major difference in the thing. And that's really what we're talking about with the people pleasing here, is that, and sometimes it is the situation where they really need your help. So you have to make that decision. Is it worth it to compromise myself a little bit to help them? Or is it worth it to do those? And if every once in a while, you can take those things that might compromise you a tiny bit, as long as you're not doing it in all aspects of your life, because that's what leads to burnout. If you are high energy, if you have been taking care of yourself, if you've been getting enough sleep, it's okay one night maybe to stay up late, right? And help someone out. Or it's okay one day to miss your workout to go help someone. But if you're constantly doing that, then that's where you get to that burnout stage. That's when you get to that stage of being held back and in a worse off position than you would have been. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit shorter because that's really most of what I had to cover is the people pleasing. Why it kind of happens is because we're trying to fit in, right? And when does it happen? It happens when we're children. It happens when we're trying to fit in. And it's a safety mechanism that our subconscious mind does to fit in. And then, why is addressing this important? Well, if you don't address it, you're going to become burnt out. You're not going to be able to have the time to make moves towards the life that you want. You're going to be stuck living the life that you want, or maybe you're going to start in a downward spiral because you can keep getting burnt out. You're not going to have the energy for yourself, and you're going to avoid taking care of yourself. Then you're going to be left in a spot where you can't help anyone. You can't even help yourself. And we want to avoid that. So how can we address it? We can analyze each situation, analyze each opportunity to help someone, and consider if that's going to leave us in a very bad spot, if that's going to lead us to burnout. And then we can use the words yes and no. Yes to the good things in your life, no to the bad things in your life. And once we have that energy, once we have the ability to help other people, we can do some of those things too that might, make us miss out on sleep or something like that. That's the main points I wanted to talk about today. And it's also relevant to self-sabotage because, burning yourself out at the expense of other people is self-sabotage. Let's just be real about it. Okay. And knowing something is wrong and doing it anyways for someone is self-sabotage. And that's not even just for someone, it could be for the government, it could be for any of these things, right? With this whole COVID stuff, pandemic, it's even more apparent than ever. If you know something's wrong, like maybe taking the vaccine or something like that, then don't do it just because everyone else is doing it. Don't do it because the government's just saying to do it. Do it because you think it's right. Do it based on your own beliefs and core values. Do it based on your own research. Do it based on your own ability to critically think, because we all are critically thinking of people. We all have the ability to think for ourselves. And I highly recommend we all do it. We all have that ability. We all can do it. Unfortunately, sometimes we get stuck in the people pleasing ways and we just start to follow society in general just to please others and so we can fit in, so we don't get outcasted, so we don't get ridiculed. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why we are trying to avoid that, right? Well, it's our subconscious mind. There are two parts of our mind, the conscious mind and the subconscious. Conscious mind is the part that has your dreams, your aspirations, has the long-term thinking, has the ability to critically think. It's the logical part of your mind. We have the subconscious mind. This part of your mind is not logical. It's not critically thinking. It's more like data and programs. What I mean by programs is this part of your mind is constantly collecting data from your environment 24/7. And what it's doing with this data is it's compiling the safest things to do, because its main goal is to help us fit in so that we are safe within society. And what we need to know is that sometimes being safe within society does not mean you're healthy, does not mean you're successful, does not mean um, you love yourself or are going to be taking care of yourself. Often, often it actually means the opposite, especially right now in our society. It is very backwards. I'll talk about that in another podcast, but I think it's important just to address that. That is why we are trying to avoid not fitting in. That's why we're trying to make sure that we fit in no matter what, because this part of your mind wants to keep you safe. Anyways, guys, if you guys like this video, please give it a like. Please give it a subscribe. Please give me a comment if you agree with me. If you have any other points that you think I should talk about, or if you have something else that you'd want me to talk about, reach out to me. I'll put my email down below. I love to make a podcast for you, or as a YouTube video, or even just a Facebook Live or something, and we can talk more about it. Or if you want to work with me one-on-one, or just even talk to me about what I can possibly help you with, then reach out to me. There's going to be a link down below as well, so that we can schedule a free strategy call over Zoom. Essentially, we'll just hop on Zoom and we'll chat about what you're needing help with, and then some possible solutions, guys. Anyways, I hope you guys all have a great day. Thank you for listening. This weekend, we're going to be hit by the hurricane. Well, we're in here in Colombia, about 2 hours from the beach, so we should be fine, but my work already canceled for tomorrow, so that's kind of nice. And yeah, I'll see you guys. I hope you all have a good one. Thank you. Bye.